And every Thursday we check in with Keith Costas from MLB TV, and I believe we have Mr. Keith Costas on the line. Keith?
You do. That's correct. You're off to a hot start.
All right, you're going to bring it. Before we get to a little baseball talk, there is a rumor going around on social media that the Geno Smith fight in the locker room had something to do with you. Were you involved in any way in that altercation?
I can neither confirm or deny my involvement in anything at Jets camp.
Okay, fair enough. Gallivanting all around the world, where'd you go? Anywhere fun?
Yeah, actually, I do have a good answer to that question, surprisingly enough. I was in Africa for a couple weeks right around the All-Star break, so been back for a couple weeks now, but took a little break from baseball and saw some pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, no, were you out scouting for the MLB? Any good prospects in Africa?
I did not see many prospects. They were more of the more concerned with the hunting aspect than any kind of real sport. I did encounter many men with spears who kept our camp safe, but didn't get to see them throw those spears and maybe make a guess at how that would translate to the mound.
Holy mackerel, that sounds like a vacation. All right, good. Let's talk a little baseball. I was at the Cardinal game last night, and you just sort of tick off the Cardinal roster. Wainwright's gone for the year. Holiday hasn't given him much because he's been injured. They've been doing it with Molina, Johnny Peralta, and a bunch of first and second year players.
Absolutely. I mean, since we last talked, it's been a couple weeks. Obviously, Randall Grichuk has just completely taken off, and it seems like in about a week's time there, he went from a guy who people considered a really nice player to a guy who some people think has a real strong case for Rookie of the Year and what's been an amazing rookie class, one of the strongest rookie classes we've seen in a generation or so. And then with Biscotti coming up and contributing what he's contributed, and then also, as everybody knows, the young pitchers that they've had that have been doing it all year. So, yeah, it's been pretty amazing to watch, especially those two outfielders.
I don't think people can appreciate, I guess they can, but Waka is so good and so fluid and just gets the ball and throws it. He is so much fun to watch.
Totally agree. Fluid's a perfect word to describe him. But how about Martinez the night before? I was actually in Kansas City working at a game there, doing a Royals game, and that was a great atmosphere to be at, by the way, as well. But I was kind of following the Cardinals while that game was going on, just through the box scores. Seeing him face McCutchen 4 times, getting him out 4 times in one game. There's only been 2 guys that have done that in the last 2 years. Wainwright, we all know his resume, and John Lester, who signed a 9-figure contract in the offseason. So that's pretty good company for a guy who, like you mentioned, is still just 23, 24 years old. And then with Waka following it up the next night, I mean, it's a pretty solid 1-2 combo if they can keep him healthy and ready to go throughout the season.
I know if you look at Jason Hayward's numbers, he's batting 280, 285, 290, whatever. He's only got, 8, 9 home runs, and he's got 40 RBIs. Not a lot of run production and not a lot of home runs, but it seems like every single one of his RBIs wins a game, and it seems like every single home run ties a game.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about salaries just before with Lester, I mean, Jason Hayward's going to get paid, even though he doesn't have those traditional baseball card numbers. I think he's been basically exactly as advertised. His defense has been great. He's, closing in on 20 steals and been super efficient in that category. He's great on the bases, just outside of the stolen bases, too, just taking the extra base, the way he runs the bases all the time. I think he's been exactly what they thought they were going to get, and I think that if they want to lock him up, they're going to have to put down a pretty heavy price to do it.
And that's kind of why I don't really want to be the Cardinal ownership right now. I don't know if I want to give somebody $150 million for the next 7-8 years or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll take quite that much, but it is going to be a big number. It'll be close to, if not over. Well, if they go that long with him, it'll certainly be over $100 million, but I think he's only 25 years old. It seems like he's been around forever, but he's still a young guy too. So I do think that they've come out and said as much publicly that they want to have him in the fold down the road. And like you said, it's going to take a big number. It's a tough pill to swallow, but that's the way the game's played now.
Inside MLB TV, Keith Costas, what are they saying about the Mets and all the moves they made at the wire?
The Mets are looking pretty good right now. I'm not sure how much their outlook has really changed. They did make a nice move to get Cespedes. I really like that for them. Seems like everybody does. But they're all about the same thing they've been all about all season, which is the young pitching. As far as the playoff chances go, I think that there is some growing concern about the Nationals. People just don't seem to think that they're going to get it together. I mean, they're still right there. They're only 3.5 games out, and they're in the wild card race too, but they just don't look like the juggernaut that every season people think are going to win 100, 105 games, and it just doesn't always play out that way. So I think the Mets' chances are trending upwards to hang on and maybe make an appearance in October for a change.
Could see a Mets-Cardinals playoff series, and that's always fun. All right. Keith Costas, what's coming up on MLB TV we should be paying attention to?
We've got the normal routine today. Got MLB Central coming up at 9 a.m. That's the show I'll be working on from 9 to noon St. Louis time, and then just a full day of studio shows. Got some day games, too, to follow, so we'll be checking those out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Costas, who cannot confirm nor deny that he was the reason for the Geno Smith punched in the jaw. So we'll just have to leave it there. Keith, have a good week. Thanks for checking in.
You too, Miguel.
7-Eleven, Big 550, KTRS.
Live.